And how many did you have?
Well, that was like my last drink I had. I think I had 4.
4?
Yeah.
About 4.
Yeah.
This is Gabriel Lyle Schroeder, a 37-year-old Delta Airlines pilot who was just 20 minutes away from going sky high under the influence of alcohol. Thanks to a TSA agent's hunch and the officer's quick thinking, they were able to save dozens of passengers of Flight 1728 from the ill fate of boarding a flight piloted by a drunk idiot. In this video, we're taking you through the interrogation of Gabriel Schroeder and how he was arrested before departure.
I'm telling you, man, these can't get rights are everywhere in everyday life. Okay, they're your airline pilots, your police, your nurses, your doctors, your dentists. God.
On July 20th, 2019, Delta Airlines Flight 1782 was scheduled for takeoff at 11 a.m. The pilot, Mr. Schroeder, approached Terminal 1, which is designated for crew members, and was surprised with a baggage screening. It should have been a surprise for him, considering that he's the pilot, but not surprising enough to think about it and turn away. According to the TSA agent who spoke with Schroeder, he looked very suspicious and tense.
Pilot, he looked a little disheveled, like he had the white with the epaulets and that, but it was dire need of an ironing. It was kind of a schleppy look.
Why would he walk away after knowing that there's a baggage screening? And in case you're wondering whether he made a pit stop to tie his shoelaces or something else, he walked all the way back, past all the duty-free shops, the waiting lounges. He just paced back until he finally reached the restroom, a place with no surveillance. Even if he had to go to the restroom, he could have picked any near the baggage screening gate. It's obvious that he wanted to hide something. By then, the officers were on alert for Schroeder and tried finding him. But before they could track him, they found Schroeder back at the baggage screening checkpoint. At the checkpoint was Air Marshal Joseph Loftus, who asked him about his sudden turn back.
What kind of arrogance you gotta have to decide I'm a pilot, I'm a fly drunk. I could do this in my sleep. I'm a fly drunk. I'm that good. Pieces of shit.
Back, to which he responded that he had left his iPad in the Delta crew room. According to the Air Marshal, Schroeder looked, and I'm quoting, very nervous and deceptive. They knew something was off. The Air Marshal and some officers went back to where he said he went, and after doing a basic search, they found a sealed 1.75-liter bottle of Philip vodka. By this point, Schroeder had made it past the screening and was now boarding the plane.
He was gonna do
the
some more
officers had
drinking.
reasonable suspicion to stop the plane as they suspected the pilot could be drunk. Detective Dylan Thomas steps on board and talks to the pilot. Seeing that he had alcohol in his breath and acted nervous, they had
What an idiot.
no choice but to detain him and offboard the passengers.
Wow.
He was cuffed, taken to the booking area, asked to blow into a breathalyzer, and asked for a blood sample. After that, he was interrogated by the same detective who stopped him on the aircraft, Detective Dylan Thomas.
What an idiot.
All right. So I read your rights earlier, right?
Yeah.
You kind of recall those rights and you still want to talk to me?
Yeah, I was talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you kind of just, before I ask you any questions, do you kind of just want to tell me kind of what's been going on and just start over and...
Yeah, I'll start over.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew I had one bag, and I knew that it was legal to bring it through there, but I guess I was more than anything just embarrassed to have it.
Yeah.
So I did throw it out. So I apologize. That's all that I had in there.
Okay.
I didn't ditch anything else.
Okay.
And then
You left your common sense somewhere too.
I don't know how I still have or possibly had alcohol on my breath yet, because I did have drinks yesterday afternoon, but
Okay.
I know.
Come on, man. If they could smell it on you, and it's in your blood, wasn't no yesterday afternoon.
Imagine before entering an interrogation, you're asked to blow into a breathalyzer and draw blood. You'd know exactly why you're pulled out of a flight, stripped from the uniform, and facing a police officer. So he's sober enough to spill the truth. That's a good sign. But keep in mind, he's only telling the truth about what he had, not how much and when he had it.
Well outside of.
What time about did you have your last drink yesterday?
A 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. And how many did you have?
Well, that was like my last drink I had. I think I had 4.
4?
Yeah.
About 4.
Yeah.
4
And what
o'clock
were they?
yesterday? Stop.
I had 1 beer and then 3 mixed drinks.
Okay. And how big was the beer?
Just a can.
Okay.
Can
And what were the mixed drinks?
it was vodka.
Okay.
Vodka
Where
straight
was that at?
was the mixed drink.
Your house? Okay. Roseville? That's your address on on your license?
Yeah. 13-14-1. Yep.
Perfect. And what's a good phone number for you?
507.
So did you feel any of the effects still today?
No. No. I'm
So there's the first lie. The fact that he feels no effect of the drink at the time of boarding the flight. And keep in mind that his blood was drawn for the blood alcohol concentration test, and it turns out his BAC was between 0.04% and 0.08%. For perspective, the legal limit for driving a car is around 0.05 to 0.07%, so we can say that he was indeed hammered. Also, he's piloting a plane, not driving a car, so the international standard requires the BAC level to be not more than 0.04%. So yeah, he's definitely not sober enough to fly.
Bro, I don't need nobody. You can't have nothing. You couldn't have a nothing, piece of rum cake, nothing. You fly in my plane, bro.
Okay. And have you ever flown an aircraft while you felt any effects from alcohol or anything?
All the time.
No. So you came through, you went up, sat in the airplane. Where were you kind of, when I came up to you, where were you kind of in your progress? Were you doing your in-flight checks? Had you already completed your in-flight checks? Or?
hadn't even started. Just talking to Dave.
Okay.
Literally, what I did is I pulled the flight plan up.
Okay.
Did he? Let's go back and see.
Camera.
There he is boarding the flight after his unusual return to get his quote-unquote forgotten iPad. There he is boarding the flight just like the other crew members. And here is Detective Dylan Thomas entering the plane to talk to Schroeder. While their conversation was unavailable, Dylan Thomas said, and I'm quoting, "There were 2 passengers already on board. Why would he pull the flight line if there were already 2 passengers on board? Passengers were boarding the plane as the detective and the pilot were having the conversation. And in case you're wondering how many, take a look here."
Damn.
So it's safe to say that he was ready to board in this condition, and if it wasn't the TSA agent's tip, there could have been a worse calamity.
Hell yeah. He would have got away. He would have got through it. Or
It
not.
looked like you guys were getting ready to board. Because there's a couple passengers already on. It looks like the one that needed extra assistance. You guys were just getting ready to board, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not really familiar.
I don't remember. I was
You don't
drunk.
deal with that. Okay.
I don't remember. I was lit, bruh.
San Diego was.
Okay. And this is your first flight of the day?
Yeah.
Where were you going from San Diego? Was that your final, or are you
We were
coming?
laying over there.
Okay.
I think we had 18 hours there.
Okay. How often do you drink before flying? Like, or how often do you drink? Is it often that you have drinks the night before you fly?
All the time.
I can't say that I do or don't.
Okay. So I guess is it common to have 3-4 drinks the night before you fly?
Morning of.
No. I wouldn't say that that's a regular deal.
Okay, so.
Ridiculous. Sarcasm, YouTube. Don't
So another
demonetize.
question then is, I guess, when you came up to the screening area,
Yeah.
what were you kind of thinking? Because I know obviously you're kind of worried. It was just embarrassing, you said. Was there
Yeah.
anything else going on? Or
No, it's
did you think that maybe you still have alcohol in your system and that's why you should maybe go back?
Not
to
at
that?
all.
Okay.
Not at all. No.
Okay.
No.
Stop, bro. You made a straight. You made a U-turn. You rode up to security. You realized you had a bottle in your bag, and you made a U-turn.
It was like, well, this is going to look stupid. That is,
Mhm.
taking all, So, anyway.
Okay. And then, is there any reason why you're dishonest with us on the flight? Because I asked you numerous times, kind of, had you been drinking? When was the last drink? You told me Saturday.
I just was embarrassed,
Okay.
This was,
Career ender.
just decided, started shaming my wife, and, you know, so.
When Detective Dillon was talking to him at the back of the aircraft, he reported smelling a light odor of a consumed alcoholic beverage on his breath. When the detective asked him, he said that he had not consumed any alcohol since last Saturday, which was 3 days prior. In this interrogation room, he said he drank yesterday night.
You lie.
The detective has caught him in a lie, so he'll use that to bring out the truth. Keep in mind that he can't be slapped with a one-time offense charge, as he's the reason so many passengers got a 1-hour flight delay.
And then,
Keep in mind that he can't be slapped with a one-time offense charge, as he's the reason so many passengers got a 1-hour flight delay.
And then, obviously you said you felt okay flying, because I asked you a couple times, and I even gave you the opportunity to leave and get off the aircraft. I told you a couple times that you can go home instead of flying before we did the breathalyzer, and you say that you felt okay to fly, so you felt all right.
So he was pushing to fly, so he could have got away with all this. I mean, he would have probably lost his job. There'd have probably been, an investigation on him internally through the airline, but he was giving him an opportunity to get out of there. Dude pled his case too many times, talking about, I'm ready to fly. No, I'm good, no worries.
Right.
I mean, apparently I did. I mean,
No, you're a dummy.
I'm really surprised that
A drunk
it didn't
dummy.
happen, so.
Okay. And then you just told the captain, or what did you tell the captain? I think his name is Dave, right?
Yeah.
What did you tell him when you got on? It was just normal, or did you guys talk about anything when you first got on?
We were just talking about time off. We were talking about, you know, how many days are coming off. I said, yeah, I had like a week off. He's like, yeah, me too. And, we were just talking about
Small talk.
our
Liquor on
policy,
your breath.
contract talk, you know. So basically just catching up. We've flown together multiple times.
Responsible for all kind of people
So
in the
not
sky,
every
on the
time, but fairly
ground.
often you fly with him.
This has been my third or fourth time
Okay, so
flying
I
with
was
him.
on that bunch.
Yeah.
Is there anything else for me that you have any questions or anything right now? Otherwise, I'll kind of explain everything going forward.
Yeah, you can just explain.
So basically, what's going to happen is you're not going to jail today. Okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to finish up. What you're going to do is you're going to be booked. You are going to be right now charged, pending charges, pending the blood result test. Okay, that you provided before. You're going to be pending charges for Minnesota Statute 360, which is operating an aircraft under the influence of alcohol.
Damn.
The threshold for an aircraft is .04. So, right.
The threshold for an aircraft should be .000000000. I don't know what we talking about here. So the threshold for drivers is .08. The threshold for pilots is .04. That's ridiculous. It should be 000 or you can't be a fucking pilot. Bottom line, I don't get that part.
.04 compared to for Minnesota Statute 360, which is operating an aircraft under the influence of alcohol. The threshold for an aircraft is .04. So, right. 0.04 compared to .08 in a regular vehicle. Right. There's other
That's
commercial vehicles in there.
ridiculous.
.04 aircraft is one of them. Like I said, your preliminary breath sample was a .063, or sorry, .065. Just so you know. So that's where we're going to go. You're going to get booked, just fingerprints, photographs, and then you'll be released. It sounds like your chief pilot, I don't know, familiar with the Army, wants to come pick you up and give you a ride. That's up to you, obviously, but so I don't know if they were obviously made aware of the situation. That's up to you how you want to get home. I'm not going to recommend you drive just because of the whole situation. So he wanted to come pick you up, however you want to get home, that's up to you. And then you go from there. What'll happen is once your blood test results come back in,
What's the time frame?
I can't say for sure. It depends on their caseload and things like that. I'd say probably a month. So it is going to be a while. Yeah, that's all up to the BCA or county where the blood results get sent out to and get tested at a lab.
A month.
So it's a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's not like a breath test or anything where it's instant and we know and we can charge right away.
So they're gonna lock your ass
what
up in a month.
What's going to happen is most likely, since it is involving aircraft, kind of on the job, it'll be likely referred to the U.S. Attorney's Office and they'll charge it out. If they don't want to charge out for whatever reason or decline, then it'll come back locally. So basically what will happen is somebody will be in touch with you once we get those results back and let you know. And let you know what charges are going to come and things like that, okay?
Shit the bed, buddy.
Any questions there? I think so. Okay,
No,
so what
can I
we'll
have
do
a
is
drink?
if you want to wait in here, I'll have somebody come book you. You can do that. It'll probably...
Oh, Shy, life is hard. People have problems. Blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. I don't need the people driving my ambulances drunk. I don't need the EMTs, you know, saving old ladies in the back of ambulances drunk. I don't need, you know, my Uber driver to be drunk, and I don't need my pilot to be drunk. I don't give a shit how hard things are. If it's too hard for you, get out.
You'll be good to go. All your possessions and bags are right here, and I'll give you those. I think we have your phone as well, right? It's in your bag. So yeah, I'll be right back in, or somebody will be back in the book, okay?
Yeah, and then, and I don't care one way or another, but you guys do have my badge.
Your pilot's badge?
My pilot badge.
Yeah, I'll give that back. I have no reason to keep that right now. That's between you, your airline, and the FAA, I guess. So yeah, I'm giving everything we took from you back. I'm not seizing anything from you.
Fair enough.
Why you want your badge? You dishonored that badge. Bum.
After the interrogation, the BAC results confirmed that he was under the influence of alcohol, which is beyond the limit. Had it not been for the TSA agent's suspicion, his sealed container would never have been caught, and he would have boarded the flight in his drunk state. For this crime, he received a sentence of 30 days of electric home monitoring and work release.
I guess.
There was also a jail sentence of 335 days, which could stay for 2 years, provided he followed the guidelines of his sentence, which included no alcohol or drug-related offenses. After his arrest, Schroeder was removed from flying.
Yeah, you would think. You would think you had to give that badge up, bro. You so worried about that badge. Forget about that badge, homie. You know what I'm saying? You need to worry about a chip. Go get you a chip from Alcoholics Anonymous, one of them coins. That's what you need to worry about, not your badge. Stupid.